I first met Dawson on a cold Thursday afternoon. My name is Michelle. I was 31 then, living in a small apartment in London. I worked in marketing, my schedule was always full, and the city was expensive. When my old roommate moved out, I needed someone quickly to help share the rent. So I placed an advertisement online. A week later, Dawson came to see the apartment. He was not what I expected. Most people who visited talked too much, laughed too loudly, or tried too hard to impress me. Dawson was quiet, polite. He spoke softly and chose his words carefully, often looking down as if he didn't want to take up too much space. He told me he had recently moved from a small town after finding a job in London. His voice was calm, his eyes gentle. He admitted he didn't talk much, and I believed him immediately. There was something about him that felt safe. I showed him the rooms and the kitchen. He asked very few questions. When he said he liked the place and could move in the next day, it felt fast, but something inside me said yes. The next evening, Dawson arrived with 2 small suitcases and a box of books. He brought no noise, no drama. In those first weeks, I barely knew him. My workdays were long, and my nights even longer. Often, I came home late to find Dawson sitting quietly in the kitchen, reading or cooking. He always cooked enough for 2. I never asked him to, but he did it anyway. The food was simple and warm, and slowly I realized I preferred eating with him to going out. Still, he seemed lonely. He never mentioned friends. Never spoke about family. Never talked about love. There was an innocence in him, as if he was still learning how the world worked. One Friday night, I came home much later than usual. I had been crying. My ex-boyfriend and I had argued again, and my chest felt heavy. When I opened the door, Dawson stood in the living room holding a cup of tea. He looked at me calmly and asked if I was okay. I said yes, but my voice betrayed me. He didn't push. He didn't ask more questions. He simply stood there, quietly giving me space. That silence felt safer than words. I don't remember exactly how it happened. I only remember stepping closer. He smelled clean, like soap and warmth. I asked him if he had ever been close to anyone before. He froze. Then he said no. Something about that honesty touched me deeply. That night, we crossed a line neither of us had planned. He was nervous and unsure, and I guided him gently. Everything was careful, quiet, tender. For the first time in a long while, I felt wanted without fear. Afterward, he asked if he had done everything right. I told him he was perfect. His smile was shy and small, but real. For a moment, I believed something beautiful had begun. The next morning, sunlight covered the wall. I turned to his side of the bed. Empty. I assumed he was in the kitchen. But the apartment was silent. His room door stood open. The bed was cold. His things were gone. Hours passed. Then days. He never came back. I felt confused, hurt, and used. His kindness made his disappearance harder to understand. A week later, my phone buzzed. It was him. I'm sorry, Michelle. I had to go home. I didn't mean to hurt you. I read it over and over, searching for meaning. Had to go. That phrase haunted me. I remembered the small town he mentioned once, about 2 hours from London. Without thinking too much, I bought a train ticket and went there. The town smelled of rain and wood. His house was easy to find, a white fence, tall trees. When I knocked, an older woman opened the door. "You must be Michelle," she said. My heart stopped. She invited me in and told me she was Dawson's mother. She explained that before his father died, Dawson had made a promise to remain pure until marriage. Being with me broke that promise. He felt he had failed his father. That was why he ran. I left her house heavy with emotions I couldn't name. On the train back, I watched the fields pass and wondered if I would ever see him again. Weeks passed. Life continued, but I felt hollow. 3 months later, there was a knock at my door. It was Dawson. He stood there thinner, tired, holding a small suitcase. He told me he had needed time, but he couldn't forget me. We sat in silence, then talked. He said he had learned that love wasn't about fear or rules. It was about truth. He moved back in. Life slowly found its rhythm again, but gossip followed us. People whispered. I doubted myself. One night, I suggested we separate. He refused. "You didn't make me weak," he said. "You made me human." From that day on, we stopped hiding. 2 years later, we left London for a small town by the sea. Dawson became a history teacher. I opened a jewelry shop. Life was quiet, gentle, real. Until one winter morning, Dawson grew tired. Ben sick. A heart condition. We fought it together, holding on to small joys. One night, he asked me to promise I would keep living if something happened. The next morning, he was gone. His death was peaceful, they said. I stayed. I kept the shop open. I walked the beach. I spoke to him in my thoughts. In his notebook, I found words he left behind. Thank you for staying. You make the silence feel like home. Now, every morning, I open my shop and remember him. He regretted everything. But he also learned everything. And so did I.